Today's Toy Spot, we are having a look at the NECA Toys Pacific Rim Anchorage Attack Jaeger Gipsy Danger. An all-new figure with battle damage coming to us from the folks over at NECA. We have a release of yet another Jaeger Gipsy Danger. This one has a different arm than what we've seen before. It also has a missing arm on the other side. Spin around the back of the package. The Anchorage Attack Gipsy Danger is one of 4 other figures that you can collect. This is the Mark III Jaeger. Other figures available are the Tactic Ronin, or Tacit Ronin. I keep calling him Tactic Ronin. Tacit Ronin, Hong Kong Brawl Gipsy Danger, and Romeo Blue. Check out other figures and other pieces that NECA are producing by going to www.necaonline.com. Spot's going to take a break. I'm going to get this opened up, and when we come back, we're going to get a better look at Anchorage Attack Jaeger Gipsy Danger. There's more anyway, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. With the Anchorage Attack Jaeger Gipsy Danger, one of the more noticeable things about this particular piece is the inclusion of the blast arm. I'm trying to think of the actual name for it, but the arm, one of the arms that he uses to fight Knifehead in the beginning of the movie. It's this kind of gun pulse cannon kind of weapon. He blasts Knifehead repeatedly with this. It's painted on the fronts to indicate that there's that energy being emitted from the front. It doesn't spin though, and none of the pieces actually move, but it's a nice accompanying piece versus having just the straight out arm. And speaking of arms, we'll talk about the other one, or lack thereof, in a second. If you don't prefer this attached arm, what you can also do too, is just grab kind of at the bicep area, grab at the forearm, and you can pop this arm completely off, and you can swap it out with something a little more familiar. And this just pops back in. It's a little more difficult to get it back on, just because the ball joint will move around a little bit on you. But you just kind of take it, try to do it on camera, of course, and just wiggle that back into place. I don't think I actually have it completely in place. There we go. And then from there, you can also take the hand, and that just pegs into place as well. Now, theoretically, there we go. Let's get the arm properly on there. I was going to say, theoretically, what you can also do too is the hand is a separate piece. Theoretically, you could just keep the hand onto the arm, and if you ever want to swap the arm out, you could just take the arm completely off and take the hand and keep the hand and everything intact. I might just ultimately do that. I like the hand and the arm included, but you know, we've seen that with other Gipsy Danger releases that I'm probably more inclined to have it displayed with the pulse cannon hand instead. And then having a look, we're just going to put him just to the side here, having a look at another Gipsy that we had a look at. Here is, what was this one? The Arc Reactor Blast Gipsy Danger, which are kind of mirrored, like sculpts to one another. They have the same similar battle damage in the arm. Little slight difference though in this section here, the torso. Of course he's a little dirtier as well. This Gipsy is a little bit lighter in color, as again progresses throughout the course of the movie. But I do like the sculpt on this one, which we've already had a look at. I don't really want to talk too much about this one too much because we've already had a look at this guy. But you can see how the arms are essentially the same sculpt. They've just flipped it around to the other side here. Now, where this one really only suffered, well, a little bit of damage in the leg, mostly in the torso, this one has these huge gashes in his torso as well as in the side of his face. If you want to even really call it his face, in the side of his helmet here. Again, kudos to NECA that continue to release these figures. I love the fact that they are still releasing Pacific Rim figures. Because Pacific Rim 2 is now, we know it's happening. They may have already started filming it, I don't really know. But the fact that Pacific Rim is making a sequel, we're getting a sequel of it, that's exciting news. Because it means NECA's probably going to continue releasing the Jaegers. I loved Pacific Rim, the first one. And to get like figures of these still being released by NECA Toys, I'm very happy that NECA is supporting this line so much still. I mean, they could have theoretically stopped the line with the first wave, even the second wave, but no, NECA continues to release it. I have a lot of respect for a toy company that is still faithful to a line, because clearly collectors out there like myself are still wanting to pick up these pieces. And in collectors, comic stores, and toy stores, Pacific Rim figures still sell very well. Let's actually, you know what? I'm going to take this arm off. Again, we've seen arms on Jaeger Gipsy Danger before. I want to get this blaster cannon back on. There we go. That's the way I'm going to have him displayed. Now, when it comes to his articulation, essentially all of this is the exact same as the other Jaegers that we've seen. Gipsy Danger more so. He does have a ball joint in the arm, which still allows for movement in the cannon section, even though there really isn't any articulation to speak of in the cannon. You can still rotate the arm quite easily. He has a bicep swivel as well, and a hinged elbow. As for the one arm is on a ball hinge joint. It does move out, and luckily the shoulder doesn't restrict the movement, moving the shoulder, the arm forward and back. He does have a ball joint in the head, although it's always problematic to try to get your fingers in there to move it. More importantly, because he's got the collar going on the back. There's some fantastic sculpt details in the back there. As for his torso is on a ball joint. Not as generous of a movement in the top ball joint here, but it still does move. And then as for his legs hinge forward, hinge back, hinge out, double bend at the knee, and finally a hinge foot, which really essentially is a ball joint in the foot, and then a hinged toe. Love this figure. I love it especially too because this is so different than the other Gipsy Dangers we have. We have there's now, I guess this is the 4th or 5th release of Gipsy Danger, and there's been, of course, variations to him throughout the different releases. This one might be one of my favorites because it has this. It's got something different that it brings to the table versus some of the other Gypsies. And for that reason, I really like this figure a lot. Today's toy spot, let's get the arm posed here. There we go. Beautiful, love it. Today's toy spot, we're having a look at the NECA Toys Pacific Rim Anchorage Attack Gipsy Danger. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more toy spots heading your way. Thanks for watching as you always do. I'll see you next time.